YouTube, how we doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today, doing something a bit different. I said I'll be doing a lot of sort of zombie content and everything on this channel and stuff like that, and I've been really lackluster with that, other than the fact that I've put it in the background of videos of my Football Talk series. Today, I'm going to do a little bit of a sort of a little review on Cold War zombies as we are right now. So as I'm recording this, it's February 22nd, I believe. Yep. Outbreak comes out in a few days' time. Now, am I going to be playing it? Absolutely. It does come out for me in England, I think, for Friday, so I will hopefully have a video up Friday evening to do with Outbreak. But right now, I just want to talk about zombies as a whole from Cold War, looking at the differences between the previous games and just see what my honest opinion of it is. I've seen a lot of people do this and everything. Some people are quite high on Cold War zombies, some people are quite cold on it. And for me, I'm in a sort of, I like Cold War zombies. If I sort of go through my run with zombies, I started playing zombies back in Black Ops 1. I was not a World at War kid. I didn't play World at War. I have gone back and since played it, but Black Ops 1 was my first zombie experience. Kino, for me, is probably still my favourite map. And I know it's nostalgic, and I know people say, oh, it was just the first map. Yeah, that's probably the reason why. And that's been my experience in it, and I've played it in every single Black Ops tile, every single Treyarch game I have played zombies in, all the way through Black Ops 1, into Black Ops 2. Black Ops 3, I played it a little bit more, even with all the sort of everything new they added to it. Black Ops 3, I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of the maps. I'm a very simplistic zombie player, as you can probably tell by most of the videos that I put out with my zombie content. I'm not an Easter egg hunter, I'm not a speedrunner. I legitimately play it to do challenges and have fun with friends, or even just do it solo. So that is the sort of my zombie experience and stuff like that with it. With Black Ops 4, I played it for maybe a month, and I think there was too many changes. I think they tried to do what they thought was a good direction to take zombies in. They try to take out crutch perks. They try to make the maps a bit more difficult, try and add more bosses. And although that seemed quite cool and everything, the crutch perks of Jug and Speed Cola and Quick Revive got replaced with other perks and stuff like that, which then became crutch perks. So the idea of removing the originals and replacing them with something new, it didn't quite work out. In terms of the maps, for me, the maps were very, very poor. Now, my experience with playing Black Ops 4 is I played it for 3 months. The first 3 months it came out, and then never touched it again. I wasn't a fan of Blackout. That's just my personal opinion. I didn't like the multiplayer, and the zombies was a huge letdown. It was one of the worst spends of money I've ever had playing Black Ops 4. And I think I see the general consensus with, the zombies community is to see, why Black Ops 4 was so underwhelming. And when you look at the maps that you got, you started with Voyage of the Damned, which was just, it did not live up to anything. There was no real hype for it, nothing like that. You had Blood of the Dead, which was an okay sort of concept, but it took away from the charm of what Mob of the Dead had from Black Ops 2. Mob of the Dead was such a strong map that Blood of the Dead didn't do it right with the name, with anything that they did with it. You had 9, which, for me, I don't know if anyone else had the same problem, but I stopped playing 9 after the first maybe week and a half because it was such a glitchy map. Whenever me and my friends spawned in, it would spawn in with bots, and we'd just get insta-downed, and we could never really play 9 at all. I know 9 is considered the best map of Black Ops 4, which really isn't saying anything when everything else is so subpar, but that was always my thing with it. You then had Classified as well, which was available for people that had the Season Pass. I did not buy the Season Pass because, like I said, I was not interested in Black Ops 4. So yeah, and then the maps were just rehashes and stuff like that, and it really did sort of turn the community off, and they did really think, could Treyarch actually make a strong zombie game again, whether it be on its own or part of the next title. And when when Cold War was announced, that little snippet at the end of the original trailer with the zombies and Nukt, people then got excited. People were then like, oh my god, this generally does look like a title we can play. We're going to like this. And when Die Machine was announced and released and stuff like that, it didn't take long for people to realise, although it's quite a simplistic map, it plays really, really well. I mean, for people, you've got 4 main areas in which, you can play out the map in and stuff like that. Pond is probably the worst, but you can still do something there. But the zombie spawns there are very, very poor. You've got the particle accelerator room, which, I think if you're almost like a seasoned vet and everything in terms of training and, round manipulation and stuff like that, you can do work down there. You've then got the crash site, which I think is for me, for a long time I played the crash site effect and it worked. And then you've got the yard, which is always my go-to and everything. The yard is open, if you only open one of the doors, you've got an easy training area and stuff like that. I think for me, Die Machine as a whole is a very solid map, and it's a good map to get people interested in the game. When you go back to Kina de Toten and stuff like that, it was such a simple map that it allowed casuals and diehards and tryhards and everything. It gave them a platform to go, okay, well, this is how there's nothing to do in Kino and stuff like that, but turn the power on and then pack a punch and stuff like that. And it's so simple like that. And I think that's why Kino's reputation has never changed from that. Whenever a new title is released, the first map should always be a simple map to get people caught up to speed with how the new game plays and stuff like that. I mean, obviously with Cold War there are a lot of changes to it, which I'm going to go through, and I think Die Machine does that really well. It combines that sort of, there is a bit complicated to it, and then there is just the idea that the map it's a giant circle in a sense, and it's so simple to play the map and everything as well. You can get super high levels and stuff like that, and I think that's one of the reasons why Die Machine has gone down as a legitimate success, in my opinion. With the current map, Firebase Z is a map that it takes 2 separate maps and puts them together. Does it work? Yes. Firebase Z is a very, very good map. It's very easy to get everything done. I mean, I've been watching the speed runs and everything of it. I think the current world record is 23 minutes solo, which is unheard of. But the idea of having just a general spawn area where you get some certain stuff done and then jump over and stuff like that, that's a cool concept. I think I'm trying to think. I know there's definitely a map that does that. I'm trying to think of the name, but it's not coming to me at all. That it is basically 2 maps put into one. I think the problem with me with Firebase Z is, although if you need to get your elite eliminations, they've finally fixed it now so that you can get your elite eliminations killing the manglers and the mimics. But for me, the one thing that lets Firebase Z down is just the sheer amount that do spawn in. When you play Die Machine and you had maybe 2 megatons around and stuff like that, yeah, that's a pain in the arse. But with Firebase Z, when you've got 6 mimics and 3 manglers every single round, it does get a bit much and stuff like that, For me, I run the helipad route, where you literally just run around in a circle in that area and stuff like that. I don't open up to the barracks, I don't open up to the garage, because I do the route where you can just run around the whole map without opening the main 2 doors. So the only entrance point they've got is coming through towards the dome. And for me, that's fine. I don't mind doing that method. But, when you do have just mimics and manglers spawning all the time, it is difficult. It is quite a pain in the arse. And I think that's the only problem that I think Firebase Z does have. Do I think it's better than Die Machine? I do. If you said to me, what map do you prefer playing? If I just want to generally level guns up, then I would probably play Die Machine, unless I need to get elite eliminations, in which I will play Firebase Z. If I wanted to sort of test myself, then I would play Firebase Z 100%. But for me, the 2 maps that we've got so far, are a good foundation to what Treyarch can push on and do with the next 8 months worth of content that they're going to have for this game. I'm hoping Outbreak is going to be this revitalize. It's going to take the sort of the good points of both of these two maps and make it into this humongous thing. We already know that there is going to be a remastered Kino de Toten area in Outbreak. That is exciting to me. I realistically cannot wait to play this game mode and stuff like that, because I'm hoping it does live up to my expectations and hoping it lives up to everyone else's expectations, because it's, yeah, we've got two good maps right now, two solid maps, and let's hope they can push on with that. Going on from the maps, I look at the wonder weapons. You think of previous titles, you know, the ray gun has been the standard bearer from World at War, now through to Cold War. You think of what you had in World at War, you had the Wunderwaffe. You think of what you had in Black Ops 1, you had the Thunder Gun, you had the Winter's Howl. You had, I think that's it, I could be wrong, I'm trying to remember everything. Obviously you've got basically the wave gun from Moon. You then move into Black Ops 2, and then 3 and 4, and you know, there's so many so many weapons that come and go and stuff like that. You know, throughout the whole thing, that ray gun has always been the best thing, and in Black Ops 3 and 4 it was severely nerfed, and I think that turned a lot of people off, thinking, you know, they made so many retrains of this gun. You had the Mark II, which first appeared in Buried. You had the Mark III, which first appeared in Gorod Krovi, and it just diminished how good this weapon was. You know, when you pulled the ray gun for the first time, you went, "Oh, what's this?" And then it fired. You were thinking, "Oh my god, this is the most amazing thing in the world." And bringing it back into Cold War, I think a lot of people were expecting it's just going to be, you know, a reskin from Black Ops 4. It's going to be poor. It's going to be rubbish. We're not even going to use it. And it turns out it is brilliant. It's gone back to the old school days of how good the ray gun used to be. And I'm really happy with that. I really do love the ray gun. It's one of those things when you pull it in the box and stuff like that, you think, "Oh my god, I've just pulled it in the box." And it's like, yeah, that it's got that name back again. It's got that sort of, I want this gun. I don't just want the ray gun just to say I've got it. I'm using it because it is really good. If you then look at the die machine itself. Now, obviously, the two ways obviously you can get it from the box, which is extremely RNG. I don't think I've ever seen anyone pull it from the box from when I'm playing with my friends or I'm playing on my own and stuff. I've never pulled it from the box. But the Easter egg to get it is actually very simple. You know, kill the Megaton bombers, grab the remote or grab the disc, run down to Weapons Lab, get the remote, activate it in Nuct, and then just run a bunch of zombies through it and stuff like that. You know, it's simple. It gives everyone the chance to use this gun, and on the basis, the base die machine is extremely good. It is a really good gun to use. I think it's a really good wonder weapon for the very first map. You know, oh look, you're coming back into zombies, you got your ray gun, here's your die machine and stuff like that, and it just looks incredible. And then the fact that they went, you know what, we're not going to make you pack punch it as normal, we're going to go down a different route where you can pick up different attachments to put onto it to change the weapon as a whole. And for me, that's really cool. Really cool. For me, the worst one is the gas one. If you have used the gas one, you will know my pain on this. You think this thing is meant to be it's probably the easiest thing to unlock, because you've just got to get the gas bottle from the top of Nuct, put it in the gas thing underneath where Deadshot is. Basically, if you just have two plague hounds, you fill the whole thing up and then you've got this gun. But it's such an underwhelming variant that it's marked down below the original. If you had a choice between the two, you'd take the original any day. You've then got the ice one, which isn't actually too bad. It's not the best, but it is very good. When I'm playing solo, I do like to go for the cryo one if I do ever play with it. And it is quite a cool little idea and stuff like that. The other one you've then got the plasma cutter, the fire one. A little bit more difficult to get a hold of. with that one. I think for me, I'm not a fan of using that one because for me, when I'm using the ice one, obviously I can just hold my the trigger down and I know what I'm getting out of it. Obviously with the fire one, it is those charge bursts, and I don't think they're charged quick enough that it is a viable use to use. And the final one being the electroshock, which is obviously the best one, and the only way to get that is to basically do part of the Easter egg and everything. You have to have had all 3 of the previous ones, go for the Easter egg, and then you get this one. And yeah, the electric one is by far the greatest one there is. And I think the idea of having to do most of the Easter egg to get this, I don't actually mind. I really don't mind that. I'm quite happy that you have such an overpowered variant that you can keep it. You have to earn it, and I think Zombies misses that little bit sometimes. And I think sometimes it is too easy, Zombies, and sometimes it's too difficult. I think this adds just that little bit of difficulty factor that makes you go, do you know what? I know I have to actually play to obtain this part. So for me, the Die Machine is a really, really strong wonder weapon. It does look like we're only going to get it in Die Machine unless they bring it back for the 3rd Zombies map, which whenever that's going to drop. If we then move on to Firebase Z, and with the Raikei, wow, it's a weird combo. It's a ray gun and an AK put together. You would never have thought that would even work at all, but it does. And again, you've got the idea of that you can get it through RNG using the box method, or you can do it via picking it up and doing a little sort of Easter egg with it. Now with that Easter egg, it's not the most difficult. The most annoying bit is probably killing the Mangler by shooting its glowing hand. That was the bit that got me and my friends stuck the very first day it came out. But it's, again, I'm liking the fact that you've got the chance to go through these little side quests in order to get the main weapon as a whole. Pack-a-Punched, really, really strong. You can see how strong it is in the boss fights and stuff like that. And the fact that you can get it from the Intel machines as well, from the challenges, is another really strong weapon and stuff like that. I'm hoping that they keep upping it. They keep upping the ante with these wonder weapons. If they are going to make them as map exclusives, then I'm really hoping that every single map, it either gets a little bit better or stays on the same caliber as the map before. I think the Raikei is better than the Die Machine. Not to say the Die Machine is bad, but I think that Raikei is just that little bit better, and I'm hoping that they can continue this trend. Now, moving on to perks, like I said, with Black Ops 4, they changed so much, taking out the so-called crutch perks and reverting to something a little bit different. And the community, I don't think, took to it very, very well. I think over time, people appreciated them a bit more. And then I think Treyarch knew that they kind of did screw up with that. And I think if they went into Cold War with the same perk system as they did in Black Ops 4, Zombies would not be as popular as it is right now. The fact that they went back to the original method is a really good idea. You've still got the main 4 and stuff like that, obviously with, well, you've actually not even got 4 anymore. You've got the main 3 of Speed Cola, Quick Revive, and Jug. Quick Revive obviously works different in this one. It doesn't give you a quick get up and everything because of the inclusion of Self Revive. With Quick Revive obviously allowing you to regain health a lot quicker and stuff like that. Jug still works the exact same way, and Speed Cola still works the exact same way. Stamina Up, for me, has become the crutch perk in Zombies. The best thing about this game is that you can purchase every single perk in the map every single time. You don't have to do an Easter egg, you don't have to have a gobble gum or anything like that from like Black Ops 3. You can legit outright buy them. And I do like that because, if you have 7 perks in a map and you can't obtain 7, well, what's the point in having 7 perks in a map? The idea is to be, with Zombies, it's PvE, as Noah once said. It's PvE, not PvP. If it was PvP, limit it to 4. But it's PvE. And I think that's the main important thing, is the fact that, you're not playing against other people. You're playing with other people to kill zombies and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter how overpowered that you are. The idea of holding 7 perks gives a person power. It gives them like a purpose. And what I love as well is, Stamina Up has become such a big perk and stuff, and you can legitimately see the difference. And you look at the speed runs and everything they get. What perk does every single speedrunner get? And the only perk you need, it's Stamina Up to get from point A to point B. Deadshot coming back into it was a surprise, but with the upgrades makes it an extremely good perk. Elemental Pop was another addition that, for me, it's an underrated perk. For me, I love getting Elemental Pop. I think it's just a niche perk, but it's quite a cool perk at the same time. And the inclusion of bringing back Tombstone I think that was a weird one. And for me as well, the introduction of upgrading your perks via the crystals is really, really cool and stuff like that. The fact that each perk has its own identity, with the fact that with Jug you can get additional health with it. Your health goes from 150 to 250. With Stamina Up, you can run backwards faster. With Quick Revive, other than just picking people up quicker, you can move quicker while you're downed. With Speed Cola, obviously increasing the reload speed, obviously isn't going to change too much. Elemental Pop giving you the idea that your equipment can give off one of the elemental upgrades, and to the tier 3 of that being that no matter what you have your weapon upgrades up to, you get the equivalent of that when you kill a zombie. So if you've got Brain Rot 3 and you get a Brain Rot, then you get the level 3 Brain Rot. And I think that's really, really cool and stuff like that. The idea of allowing the game to do that for yourself it's a really cool concept and stuff. I mean, I don't think a lot of people will ever have thought that upgradable perks would ever be a thing in zombies, and I really like that. With every new perk coming into the game and stuff like that, they need to up the ante. And you think of some of the perks that we need to get in the game. Again, I don't think any Cold War, any Black Ops 4 perks will come into Cold War. If you look at the ones from the Black Ops trilogy, Mule Kick is still yet to come in, and I do think Mule Kick will come in at some point. I know you've got this sort of tombstoney glitch in which you can get Mule Kick, but it's not the same thing, As well as that, you've got Double Tap, which I think everyone is waiting for. Double Tap is such an integral part. It's got to be obviously Double Tap 2.0. It can't be Double Tap 1. It's got to be Double Tap 2.0. It just needs to come back sooner rather than later, But yeah, I think the perks system in this game is extremely good, really well done, and Treyarch deserve a lot of props for that. They understood that Black Ops 4 wasn't well received in a lot of aspects of the game, but they're trying to rectify that now. Now, if we move on to the bosses, so with Die Machine, it introduced an upgrade to the Hellhound in being the Plague Hounds. And the Plague Hounds spawn kind of like the Hellhounds did on Doris or the Giant, in which after their first inclusion, they then spawn every single round. I know with Doris and the Giant, they spawned, I think, after round 15. But the Plague Hounds obviously spawn as their own round, regardless, and then obviously you get them every round. The Plague Hounds are a good sort of mini boss and stuff like that. They are a pain in the arse, but they aren't the strongest, and I think that's good. And the fact that they do have like a Nova Crawler effect to them to kill other zombies and stuff like that is, I quite like that idea and stuff like that. And then you have the Megaton itself. Now, when this thing first spawns into the game, if you don't know, if you haven't played Die Machine, you are terrified of this thing. It's a giant glowing astronaut thing that shoots projectiles at you, and if you get too close, can almost one-hit you. Is it the most difficult to take out? Not really. Aim for the head, use Deadshot and everything, and it goes down quite quickly. And then you think, yeah, I've killed this big thing. Wait, why is it splitting into two? The Megaton bombers are a bitch, but they are very, very easy to take down no matter what weapon you're using. And then they do drop quite useful stuff. They drop salvage, they drop armor, they drop ammo, and obviously the very first time you kill the Megaton, like I said, you get the drive and everything to eventually unlock the die machine. I like the Megaton bombers. Are they a pain? Of course they're a pain, but they do add that little bit of spice to the map and everything that keeps you on your toes. You think you've killed one, perfect, split into two, you kill it, you're on a high round, obviously then another one spawns, and it keeps you moving and stuff like that. So the Megatons for me, really, really good boss. I really, really do like them. Firebase Z, Mimics are... I'm still not convinced. The Mimics are a jump scare boss, I'm convinced. These things come out of nowhere, and when you're in a party chat with people, you can be going, oh, I'm just going to go over here. All of a sudden you'll hear, what was that? Oh, it's a Mimic. And they are a pain in the arse. And the fact that so many spawn per round is a downside to Firebase Z. The Manglers, on the other hand, spawn every now and then, but once you get to the higher rounds, they spawn pretty much every single round. Don't have a problem with them. They're a little bit different from Gorod Crovey. Again, they add a bit of a spice to it, but I'd rather take Manglers over Mimics. I don't understand why there was two of them needed for this map and stuff like that. Mimics, to me, they are a hated boss, and not hated is in a good way. Like you say, oh, I hate this thing because it's so good. No, you hate it because it is just a ginormous pain in the arse. And then you have the Order itself. Now, obviously, if you're doing the Easter egg, it is the final boss battle for you to kill this thing. If you're just playing normally and you're not doing the Easter egg, you're going to play off it against it anyway on round 29, 30, 31, that sort of time, when it comes and tries to blow up one of your power generators and stuff like that. Is it the hardest thing in the world to kill? If you're not properly set up, it's difficult. I've killed this thing with a fully pack-a-punched M16, legendary Ring of Fire. It does take a little while, but it's not too difficult to kill. Very first time I came up across it with a buddy of mine, I was running 2 shotguns. That's obvious. I didn't know that this thing was 17,000 miles away from me, so obviously I was kind of pointless in that battle. Since then, I now know better. The Order, yeah, it's sort of just there and stuff like that. It's not too challenging. The final boss battle, as we've seen from certain speedrunners, I've done the Easter egg myself. It's not too difficult, the final boss battle and everything, especially when you've got 4 people. It's quite easy, but the Order, it's that sort of boss when you look at it, you go, oh my god, look at the size of this thing. It's humongous and stuff like that. What do I do? So I think so far the bosses and everything, Treyarch have pretty much got them sort of spot on. We'll see what they go on to in sort of future maps and stuff like that. Now, if we look at the guns and everything that are used in the game and stuff like that, every single gun has a purpose and everything, and every single gun can be used because of the pack-a-punching methods and stuff like that. The fact that you've got 3 tiers of pack-a-punch, and then you've got the option to do ammo mods as well, it really means that much like Black Ops 3, any single gun can be used no matter what round, and gets to no matter what round, like round infinity and stuff like that, And for me, I don't mind that, I'm a zombie player, and if you've watched just some of the videos that I've put out with just me doing zombies and stuff like that, and I've been talking and everything, if you just watch the gameplay, I don't tend to go for the norm. I do sometimes. I've never turned on Die Machine or Firebase Z and said to myself, I'm going for a high round. I turn on to do challenges, get the guns to gold, plague diamond, dark ether and stuff like that. That is what I go into a map to do and stuff like that. So when I'm on a map like Die Machine and everything, and I'm playing with 3 of my friends, they can all have Die Machines and ray guns and gallows and howers and stuff like that. I'm running around with pistols and stuff like that because I like to keep it different and stuff like that. The very first time I got past round 50, me and my friends got to round 51. For 27 rounds, I ran nothing but dual M1911s and dual Diamatis. And not one of my friends could believe me. And when I told them I'd survived that long and everything, they were kind of stunned. You know, I'm not a good zombies player. I'm an average zombies player. But I like to test myself in zombies. I don't like to just go into a map and go, oh, do you know what, I'm going to use the Gallo. I'm going to use the Howler. I'm going to use the M16, like it is on Firebase right now and stuff like that. So, for me, yeah, I think the gun variations in this game, the fact that you can customize your own loadout, you're not spawning in with a pistol. You can go in with your pre-made gun, and it starts out at the bottom of the bottom, being just common as all hell. And the fact that you can then upgrade them using the salvage from the floor to go to uncommon, to rare, to epic, and to legendary status and stuff like that. You know, I like that. I really do like that. I mean, it took me a while to even realise you can even do that, which it sucks to say that that is actually a thing that I didn't know, that you can upgrade your guns like that. I thought you just had to get them from the box or buy them from the wall. But yeah, I like the idea. You don't have to spawn in with a standard pistol. You can spawn in with whatever you want. You know the drop off is going to happen quite soon, but as long as you sort of put the right attachments on to last for a little while and stuff like that, then yeah, I do really, really like that and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, any weapon that you have can be used up to a certain round. You know, whether you use napalm burst, dead wire, cryo freeze, or brain rot. For me, my go-to when I pack a punch is dead wire. If I don't use dead wire, I use napalm. If I don't use napalm, I use cryo freeze and then brain rot. Brain rot is my least favorite to use. I will never actually use brain rot. It will only ever come to me if I use elemental pop. Simple as that. But yeah, we know that the sort of crutch weapons, I mean, you know, they've got the Gallo from the wall, the knife to an extent as well. The fact that the knife works until round 13 on its own. When you pack a punch it goes to like round 26. If you then got it triple pack a punched and to legendary status, I think you can still one knife kill them on, I think, like round 40 and stuff like that, which is just insane to me. So yeah, that for me, I really do like that and everything with this game and stuff like that. I mean, the thing as well, when you add weapon classes into the equation as well, the fact that each individual class can be upgraded just a little bit differently and stuff like that, you know, the majority of them giving you the ability to have 8 attachments on a weapon, then having armor penetration, critical damage, close quarters damage. It's really, really good. You know, even with Melee 3, you don't ever really need to spawn in with the knife and stuff. You can use any gun you want, because with tier 3 Melee, you replace the gun butt with a Bowie knife. And again, it's a one knife kill up to a stupid round and stuff like that. So I think Treyarch did a really good job in buffing the weapons and everything this game. Pretty much you can use whatever gun you wanted and you can still do well. Going into the Ethereum Crystals, this game definitely needed something different about it and stuff like that. And the fact that you earn Ethereum Crystals to upgrade your weapon classes, your field upgrades, your perks and your ammo mods and stuff like that, I think is a good idea. You know, I mean, they could have done like an old method, saying like with Liquid Divinium, and do something along them lines. But no, I think the Ethereum Crystals do work. And the fact that if you still need to earn them and stuff like that, you can earn them quite quickly in a game. For me, like, I'm completely maxed out on everything. When Firebase Z dropped with Tombstone being released, I got the 6 Ethereum Crystals needed in that map, or in one game, to upgrade Tombstone fully. So, do I think you get them too easily? I don't think you do. I think you earn them depending on how well you play. And obviously, if you're just going to sit there in a corner for 10 rounds and then die, you don't deserve anything. But if you put your heart and soul into the game, then yeah, absolutely, you get what you get out of it. And, you know, with every new perk that's going to drop, we know, obviously we don't know anything yet. We do know that with Outbreak coming out, there is a new field upgrade and there is a new ammo mod as well. So you'll have something to grind again when Outbreak drops. I'm not quite 100% certain what those field upgrades are or the ammo mod is. I have read about them. We'll have to see how they play in game. But yeah, the Ethereum Crystal idea for me was a really cool idea as well. Now, let's move on to the health system in this game. Now, you spawn into this map with 150 health. With, obviously, say you have I think it's tier 3 Juggernaut, your maximum health goes up by 100. So you have 250 health. You then have armor. Now, armor is a cool concept and stuff like that. You know, the ability to take more damage from zombies and stuff like that. Despite that, the zombies they are a lot harder in that sense and stuff like that. I think with the increased health in the armor system, they had to make the zombies tougher. You know, they swipe more quickly, they rip their limbs off and throw them at you. You know, the armor idea, it's a cool idea and stuff like that. You know, constantly replenishing it though is a pain. It really is. You know, if you can start like tier 3 or round 3 or whatever round you're going on to and everything with full armor, by the end of it you've completely out. You then got to run all the way down, pick the armor up and then come back again. At least with Firebase Z there is multiple armor ports around the map, so you don't have to just keep going to the one place. I know it would have been difficult with Die Machine to have multiple spots because it is the first map, but I think they could have done something a little bit with that and stuff like that. Hopefully with the next few maps and everything we will see multiple armor stands around the map so that you can just go to a general area, replenish and then continue moving. Armor, haven't got a problem with it. I think it's a cool concept, cool idea, and it just keeps zombies fresh and stuff like that. Moving on to, you know, the sort of new currencies and everything. So with traditional zombies, it was points based. You know, going all the way back to Black Ops 1, you would fire an entire clip into the leg of a zombie, get 80 points, and then knife the zombie for 130. You'd get 210 points a kill. With this game, it's points, not money, so to speak. And you get presets depending on how you kill. And if you kill a zombie normally, I believe it's 60 to 90 points. If you get a critical kill or a knife kill, it's 115. Obviously, then you add double points into it, so on and so forth. So no longer now can you farm zombies for points. And although that was a cool way of getting points and everything, I still do believe the way that points are given, the way the money is given in this map, or in this game, you earn them really, really quickly. You know, whether you want to go for a knifing method or using a shotgun or going for headshots and stuff like that, you can rack up points really, really quickly. And I don't think... Did it need to change? Probably not. It really didn't need to change. It's been a staple all the way from the very beginning, but this is a move that I don't have a problem with. I actually do quite like it. With the introduction of scraps or salvage, for me, I'm very hit and miss on it. I quite like the idea of using this to level up your weapons and your armor, and to buy kill streaks and lethals and tacticals. I think that's a cool idea. What does frustrate me is that you don't earn enough of the advanced salvage enough, and you get too much of the regular salvage, and there's nothing you can do with it. I've been in games in which I've got 10,000 regular salvage and 100 advanced salvage, and for me, I'm really hoping that in the third map there is a way to convert your regular salvage into advanced salvage, just to get those, you know, the kill streaks, obviously the monkey bombs and stuff like that. Then obviously to get your gun legendary and stuff like that, you need at minimum 1,500 advanced salvage, which takes a while to grind up. But with regular salvage, you earn it so quickly. You can earn 1,500 in a round 30. I'm really hoping they do come up with an idea that you can convert your original salvage to advanced. I mean, you earn 50 salvage for a regular salvage, and you earn 10 for an advanced. I would happily trade, say 500 salvage for 100 advanced salvage. I think a currency system like that could work, and I think the community would quite like that. You know, you earn way too much of the sort of below average salvage than you do the most, and especially when you equip certain attachments that increase your salvage drop as well. You're constantly going around picking up green salvage, and you're going, well, I've got so much of this, but I don't need to use that anymore. Once you get to a certain point, the only thing you're using regular salvage for is buying your armor and stuff like that, and that's only 250. When you've got 10,000 and stuff like that, other than that, you're just buying stim shots and all that sort of stuff from the buildables. So that's my only problem with salvage, is that you earn the base salvage too much, and I think they need to have a method in which you can transfer your original salvage over to advanced. But other than that, I like the idea that it's not a necessity to have it and stuff like that. Obviously, if you want to grind it, you can. If you want to go for your high level guns and weapons and stuff like that. Now, a thing that I think might have turned a few people off with this was the introduction of certain kill streaks in zombies. Now, the way I see it is this. Like I said earlier, zombies is PvE, not PvP. If it was PvP, then you don't need kill streaks at all. But most of the time, if you're a zombies player, you're playing on your own and stuff like that. And you kind of do want a challenge and stuff like that. And if you want to get to higher rounds, then, it would be alright. I mean, you look at maps like Origins had the elemental staffs. Maps like Drak had the elemental bows. Considerably, they could be considered kill streaks in their own right, because they're special weapons you had to grind to get. With these kill streaks and everything, you have to grind your salvage and everything in order to obtain them. Now, you've got the low end of the bargain with your combat bow and your war machine, and then you move on to the cruise missile, and you then move on to the chopper gunner being the main thing. The fact you can pull the chopper gunner out is incredible in zombies. And with Firebase Z, they introduced artillery and they introduced napalm strikes as well. Now, for me, kill streaks, as long as they keep them, I mean, they're not overpowered at all. I mean, they have to be overpowered because they're an obtainable kill streak, and they have to kill things in one shot and stuff like that. So for me, as long as they make sense. I mean, I don't want them to bring like an RCXD into zombies and stuff like that. That doesn't make any sense. But having kill streaks into it, I'm not opposed to it. I'm really not opposed to it. I think it was a swerve, definitely a swerve in them introducing it. And for me, yeah, I think overall they've done a really good job with that, And to sort of close this off and everything is the storyline. Now, the story has no real connection to previous titles. Obviously, the Ultima storyline was concluded in Black Ops 4 with Tag to Toten. With this map and everything, with this new game, with Die Machine and stuff like that, obviously you had I've done the Easter egg. I'm trying to remember. Obviously, the glowing boss and stuff like that. Once you've done that, obviously you've got the beams of light that come down, and then obviously you exfil and you leave. With Die Machine, it did kind of throw back into the fact that we're going back into a previous zombies title and stuff like that, because you have Samantha Maxis coming back into the game. You've got Weaver, your main point of call and stuff like that. Obviously, Weaver is from the Black Ops 1 campaign. I hope they don't try and rehash some of the old characters and stuff like that. I really don't. I'm hoping that they do stay separate. If Samantha Maxis has like a minor role to play and stuff like that, I'm completely fine with that. The you saw when she appeared in the Firebase Z Easter egg, she had Takio's sword, she had Monty's scarf, and she had Nikolai's headpiece. I'm hoping that they are literally just sort of throwbacks and stuff like that, and aren't a sort of like, oh yeah, we're going to bring back the characters again, because the game doesn't need that. The game, although we don't have any memorable characters because we legitimately play as an operator, we don't need to shoehorn back in Richtofen and Dempsey, Takio and Nikolai. They don't need to come back. There's a very real chance they may come back as operators, and I don't mind that. But as long as they don't play an important role in the story going forward, because I think that's the problem that every title had from Black Ops 2. Because with Black Ops 2, with Transit and stuff, they tried a different approach with 4 different characters, and the community they weren't drawn to them, That's why Die Rise is such a poor map. Mob of the Dead was the only non-sort of Ultimus map that didn't flop, because obviously the story was so good with Mob of the Dead. But with Origins, you rehash the characters and everything to the characters that led us from the end of Black Ops 2 to the end of Black Ops 4. And that was a really cool idea. We didn't mind that. But going into Black Ops 3, again, they tried it with Shadows of Evil. You got 4 new characters and stuff like that, and the community did not take to them. And it took to them going, well, do you know what? I mean, we've remade the Doris for you and stuff like that. And then you get the very first map being, I think it's Drak. And what you get? You get the original gang back together in their new, like their sort of Origins forms and stuff like that. and then you start a whole new storyline with the same characters again. You get that all the way through with Zetsubo Nishima, with Gorod Krovi, all the way leading up to Revelations. And that should have then been the end. It should have ended at Black Ops 3. But once again, we go into Black Ops 4. The characters and everything that were in 9 and Voyage were just poor. And obviously then you've got Blood of the Dead, which was... It was such a letdown that the fact that they kept thinking they had to keep bringing back the older characters for people then to play their game. And... you know, the story, I think, for me, I'm hoping that they don't appear in this title and everything. If they want to name drop them, fine. But as long as they don't appear in the game, I'm absolutely fine with. Make this game separate. It doesn't have to have those characters in it. You can drop hints and stuff like that and say they're there and stuff like that, but please do not have them back into it. Please let Cold War be the game that breaks that cycle of having to bring back the old cast. It does look like that's going to be the case, because at the end of Black Ops 4, the four main voice actors, they all sat together and literally said, thank you for being, like, letting us be a part of your lives for all these years and stuff like that. And it's a tear breaker. Literally, go watch it. You'll be in tears if you're a Zombies fan. So I'm hoping that that really was the end, and we're not going to get Nikolai or Dempsey pop out through, you know, like a generator or a teleporter and stuff like that and be like, hello, look, I'm back. Cold War needs to stay away from that, in my god honest opinion. It's not that I don't like the characters. I think Cold War needs an identity, and right now, with the way the Zombies is, it has its identity. So that's all I am hoping for with that. And I think I've pretty much covered everything. If I had to give my overall opinion, I'm happy with Zombies. I really am happy with Zombies and stuff like that. Like, for me, I look at... we've got 2 days and 14 hours left of Season 1. And, you know, my current level is I'm Prestige 4, level 187. I'm going to try and get to Prestige Master before the cut-off on Tuesday and stuff like that. I really am. But I look at my combat record. So with work and everything, I can't play this game every single minute of the day. And I do like to play other games and stuff like that, because constantly just playing Zombies and everything, it can do my head in and stuff like that. But for Call of Duty Cold War, I have 3 days and 10 hours played so far. Of those 3 days and 10 hours, 3 days and 1 hour have been on Zombies alone. I have barely touched multiplayer. I think it is a poor multiplayer, and the only reason Cold War doesn't get a worse reputation is because of how good the Zombies is and the replayability of Zombies. And it does bring me on to something I want to talk about in a Cold War review, which I'm going to do at some point, is that the progression, the fact that the progression is all game round, the fact that it links to Warzone, to multiplayer and Zombies and stuff like that, I do like, because I don't have to go into a multiplayer map now to get, you know, levels and stuff. That I can just play Zombies. Although it's a little bit slower, it doesn't feel slower to me at all. You know, you rank the weapons up really, really quickly, you know. I mean, I said to myself before Cold War came out, I'm going to grind for camos. But because the multiplayer has been so poor, I'm not resorted to, but I'm grinding the camos on Zombies and everything to get Dark Ether. I've already got Plague Diamond for the specials, for the launchers, for the pistols and the shotguns, and I'm now working on the tactical rifles as my next thing. And that's given me a purpose to continually play Zombies. I have no interest in playing multiplayer. I just want to play this because it has its own separate progression. But what I want to see happen is, I'd rather it be done in a way that Black Ops 3 had it, that your Zombies and your multiplayer were completely separate. But my only thing would be is, although I'd like that to be the case, I would also like the idea that if I was playing multiplayer and everything, I could use my zombie stuff, you know. I can use my zombie camos. The fact that I've grinded a gun to max level in Zombies, I'd like to use that rather than be limited. That's what I do. That's why I like the sort of crossover effect. But yeah, for me, overall, I really am happy with Zombies, and I'm hoping it stays on this forward trend that we're going in right now. I'm hoping that nothing comes up to be like, oh, you know, it turns Zombies into a poor game mode again. I really want Zombies to continually be the mainstay of Cold War. The gameplay in the background and everything is me and my friends doing the Firebase Z Easter egg. I'm already 50 minutes in, I've been talking for this long and everything, so if you've made it this far into the video, I salute you and give yourself a pat on the back and a cookie. I will probably upload the rest of the gameplay of this in I'll do a Cold War review. So if you're just here to listen, cool. Honestly, I respect that and everything. You don't have to listen. You don't have to watch me play the game and stuff like that. If you just want to listen, you can listen. I know these are long and everything. Whether I do shorter content, I have no idea. For me, I just talk a hell of a lot. Whether I should do podcasting or not, I have no freaking idea. But like I said, if you've made it this far into the video, I really do appreciate it. Hit the like. Comment below, what do you think of zombies? What are good points? What are bad points? What would you change? What do you like? Just have a general discussion down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Social media links are in the description as always. Like, subscribe, do what you need to, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care.